nobody, I know there's nobody here yet, but I'm talking. I'm getting right into this. So, all right, I am an ex-Jehovah's Witness. I was disfellowshipped. How old is my daughter? She may turn 30 this year. So 31 years ago. But I have such a different story in that I've been kind of close to the organization for years because of family. Um, One particular family member in particular did not, um, her way of understanding everything was a different approach than a lot of people approach disfellowship people. So I was always aware of things going on. But recently, as everyone knows, the newest ticket, like I heard about the beard when everybody could start, the men could start wearing their beards. I was like, okay, it's facial hair. It grows out your face. Why can't you wear it? Um, I understood. I grew up. I was born to two witnesses, my mother and my father. They were respectively, one was a elder, my dad, and my mom was a pioneer for many years, like just doing everything with that. I went on to get baptized. Like I have a sibling. We both got baptized. He's still in there, and I'm not. So being disfellowship, and I've never tried to go back. I tried to appeal in the beginning when the decision was coming down, but then I just accepted it and kept pushing because that was my life. So I've mentioned that here at this channel numerous times that I am an Exjw. This new thing cracked me up heavily. Why? I'll tell you why. Because I don't talk to my family members. I just don't. And I have a lot. They were all on my mother's side of the family, but they're all the witnesses. All of them. And we haven't spoken in decades. Like my daughter is the mile marker of that. She's 30 this year. And I've been gone from the organization since before she was born. So not speaking to people for that long, but being, I wouldn't say necessarily adjacent, but aware of what was going on in the organization for so long, made it so that it was just like, okay, y'all living your life, I'm living my life. Now I've had, curiously, phone calls come in because of this new thing that they're coming out with, where now they can talk to disfellowship people. And it's just like, what? Y'all haven't talked to me in 30 plus 30 years. 30 years. Technically 31 years. But now I get this phone call, and I remember I said, that's good. I'm glad that that decision was made for you. Like, the relationship has already been obliterated. There's not much that can be done about it. And that's with all of them. And I know for those old school, hardcore, old witnesses, they are not going to be reaching out to disfellowship people. They're going to be like, well, I don't know. They're still going to have their views on things. And so I'm like, how is this going to work? Because I'm telling you, where I live, right, there are so many of them. And historically, a lot of older ones, they're like my parents' age and people my age, we all live in the same area. I recently came back to this area. I hadn't been here for some time. But the thing is that we are so adversely different. Like, I live a totally different life. I am a priestess in the Lukumi tradition, which is not even polarizing. I mean, you just think different realm, think different universe of spirituality, of connecting to God. Just it's nothing alike. And so I've had like even like I'm fortunate in this way. I have had my grandmother even say something to me. You should come back, and it's just like I'm a priestess in another. Like life has been happening, right? And so I wonder how this is going across the world. All these disfellowship people, are y'all all getting phone calls from like family members and you know what I mean? Like old friends or cut like what's going on? Right? And I'm thinking to myself, like this change had to come down. I think in particular when it comes to family, the way that it's handled is extremely I just think it's rough. Extremely rough and raw. Okay. Coffee is needed every day, like to deal with it, right? If it's that big of a deal. As time moves on, you're fine, right? But when time hasn't moved on, you're in the beginning of this and you around these people forever. Like I have seen people on TikTok, here at YouTube, where they are expressing how sad they are that like they allow, and this is probably one of the biggest mistakes that I think a lot of disfellowship people don't understand that they're doing. If you are a disfellowship person and you have children, you should not be sending them to your parents if they're witnesses, period, because they are indoctrinating them against you. And I have recently found this out within regards to my family. And I made this same mistake. And it's the first thing I would tell people. I don't care. I know that you feel like your grandparents, they're great people, blah, blah, blah. They raised you, but you are having this big existential argument about God, and the religion is so big that it's just like when you get kicked out, you need so much support. You need resources. Matter of fact, while I'm here, I'm going to plug the live show. I'll probably be live on here and live. No, I'm going to be live at TikTok, with another Exjw's witness. The one thing you need as a support as a disfellowship person, you need psychiatric care. Like you're going to need to sit down and talk to a therapist. You have to do it. Like there's no way around it. You're going to have to do it because you understand the subject matter that you're being kicked out of this organization that was supposed to be the salvation of your life. And unless you are really going back in there, a lot of people are out here trying to figure it out for themselves, sink or swim type thing. Like I'm going to figure it out. And you need resources. You need a therapist, somebody to sit down and talk to. And I don't think they necessarily have to specialize with witnesses, but it would be good if they did. You're going to need meditation in your life on a regular basis. And you're going to need to do a lot of journaling, like writing down of how you feel about everything until you heal. It takes time. I mean, one of the great things that was probably my savings is I became a mother shortly after I got disfellowshipped. So being a mom kind of eclipsed everything. I had to, right? But the thing is, that guilt thing of not being in the organization anymore, and if you, like in my case, I was in college, moved back home, right? Which is awesome, but still being heavily pressured to go back to the hall, and at some point I was kind of doing it because it was a requirement to be home. And I remember I said, I gotta move because I can't do this. This is not my religion. I don't trust it. I don't trust the people. It's not a safe space. And there's a lot of lying going on in here and I don't have time for it. So I pulled back. And I remember I left the next time that I had to come home because being a single mother is not easy. I was working, working pretty well. And I was paying my fair share of everything. And I put it down as an edict. Like, I'm not going back to the hall. I will not. I will not be sitting up in there not believing any part of it. And only to see now y'all can talk to disfellowship people. I cannot imagine these conversations that are about to start happening. I'm in the local Target. Hey, how you doing, girl? Listen, And I'm be like, really? Like, how many times have we seen each other in this Target or a ShopRite or on a train or on a bus or in a business or in an office building? There are so, and I think, how do you come back from that? How do you come back from deciding that somebody's humanity didn't matter? You didn't have to speak to them because your religion told you you can't talk to them. And now all of a sudden, I'm telling you, I don't think old school people are going to do it. I don't think they're going to really be talking to people unless they miss them and they love them and they really want to talk to them. But I think outside of that, how do you go from being a person? I can see this guy's face who, and I don't even know what hall I know this man from because I don't even really know his name. But he knows me. And he goes out of his way to be, I'm not speaking to her. Like that over the years that I've seen him. And I do mean years. It's been like maybe 15, 20 years I've been seeing this man around the city. Okay? How do you go from that to deciding, oh, now we can talk to this fellowship people? I don't think that's a leap a lot of people are going to make. But if they do, I'm telling you, these fellowship people are going to be like, oh, now you can think for yourself and you know how to be cordial and just speak. It doesn't mean that I'm going home with you and having potato salad and fried chicken and then we're going to be hanging out every day of the week because I am this fellowship and I don't want anything to do with the organization. Also, then how do they get their brains around the continual thinking that they have on disfellowship people and people who aren't witnesses? Like, how do you decide that these are human people worthy of human decency and kindness when they never did it before? It was always this they have a high-handed view in which they deal with human beings all the time. So I don't know how they getting ready to do this, but as disfellowshipees, as people who are out here disfellowship, we've seen it. We see it. We see them when they come in the restaurants and we're there. We see it when we're at the movie theaters and they're there. We see it when we're at the park and they're there. We see it when we're at the supermarket and they're there. We see it when we're at the mall and they're there shopping, everything. We have seen their attitudes towards disfellowship people. How all of a sudden, because you're trying to get your numbers up, you do have to understand nobody hung on. Not those like myself who've been going for 30 years. We gone. We been gone. Like gone. Like Christmas tree going. Like wreath on the front door going. Like pumpkins lining the front steps into the house in October going. Like they might ding dong my doorbell and I might have some treats for the trick or a trick going. Happy New Year's Eve gone. Easter egg baskets gone. Happy Thanksgiving gone. Like we've been gone. That's how disfellowship people been gone. And that's also how they've been getting their lives together. If it's one thing that I would also say for disfellowship people, like, don't fall for the hype, man. Don't do it. Don't fall for the hype. I say that because you get to have a full life. I think that when we go live on Sundays, and I haven't been in there in a minute because I have been working on some major goals. When we go live on Sundays in the group, one of the things that I have been asked by people is, are you in a relationship? Do you have a man? Like, how is your life going? Because that's another thing that's a part of this entire process where people don't believe that they can have a life as Exjw's witnesses. The guilt travels far. Very far. Thanks, babe. It travels very far. Like, people are very terrified that they cannot have a life outside of what the witness organization told them all their life they could. But I think a lot of the times people have left the organization because maybe there's a myriad of reasons that people leave the organization and try and get out here and figure it out for themselves. They've been doing that and living, in most cases, trying to have a life and not with that back and forth, going back and forth. Oh, I went to the memorial this year, or I went to the so like, I ain't going to nothing. Oh, we just wanted to invite you. Please stop with the invites. Like, I'm a racist over here. You want to come to the next Misa we have? You want? I got some spiritual baths for you. You want those? And I don't do that. Like, I don't mess with them like that. But I'm just saying, how do you decide that these people are nothing? You couldn't speak to them. Nothing. You don't know. Like, I mean, people walking over to the other side of the street when they see you. This is behavior I have experienced. I'm not talking on hearsay. I have seen weirdness. Okay, because I have a very memorable face. I have a very big family in that organization that look a lot like, our features travel. And they travel all the way. I mean, like, they've been in my house when I was living there, right? You see them coming in it, take for instance, you know how most big cities, big like hospitals are big places that people work. A lot of people work for the government of the cities. A lot of people work for the colleges or the universities in the cities, right? And so a lot of those people who work there are witnesses, and all kinds of other people too. But also, a whole lot of them are people who may have been going to the Kingdom Hall with their families and stuff like that, but never got baptized, or a whole lot of them are disfellowship, people who walked away. Okay? Which, and just decided they didn't want nothing to do with it anymore. And my father did that. He was just like, bye-bye. He chucked the deuces and got out. All right? I'm just going to continue to ask that question. How do you now decide that these people that your very organization you were a part of, that we all sipped the Kool-Aid and realized something was off? Like, something was off. There's so many layers to uncover. I got to call my friend because we're going live on Sunday over at TikTok. It's Candace Kelly News and Bathing in Herbs. We're going to be live over there on Sunday. I'm very certain. I'm going to ask her, can we do it a little earlier? Because this is big. Because I got this phone call from a family member, and I was like, what? Oh, now you can speak to me. Because an organization told you can speak to your blood relative. I've never been at your door banging on it, saying, please give me interest. Please call me. Please. Nothing. Right? It's just, I think the idea of the amount of hurt that that the organization's doctrines and rules have levied through families is astounding. Not just the amount of hurt, the pulling apart of families. I think that is something to be looked at, and it's a reason why people should just pull up stakes and be like, listen, if you want to talk to me, you cool, but you gotta come over here on the 4th of July or my birthday because we celebrating. Come on, because that's when I want to talk to you. I want to get a happy birthday on my birthday. I want you to be a balancing. Not because the organization that told you to be balanced, you balanced. I don't know. I don't know how this is really going to go throughout the world, but a lot of people, I think a lot of the old Mohicans in the organization, I don't think they're going to call nobody. But for those that really care for and love their family members, I think they're going to reach out to them. I hope everybody is faring well with this one. Who are part of the Jehovah's Witness cosmos. If you're a disfellowship, you're still a part of it because you understand the history and everything behind it. Like literally, we were on TikTok arguing with people. They were like, "No, you could always talk to him." Like, and we're like, "No, you couldn't. Who are you? You could not always talk to this fellowship. What are you talking about?" And now the rules are changing and they're changing fast. In addition to that, they're being sued in different countries, heavily sued, like getting in trouble. And the stuff had been going on even in this country for quite some time, but nobody knows about it. Oh, I think the advent of TikTok, YouTube, everybody's talking. Everybody is putting the news out there. Okay? I do hope that everyone does well. Please know that spiritually, you are not alone. That was the other thing. When I left the organization, I'm a full-blown spiritualist. So it's just like, I'm just different. It's not an, I did not feel alone. I needed to survive early in, but even then I was just like, yo, we're not putting that stipulation on nothing no more because I don't believe in the organization and I'm not going to fake like I am. I had no intention of ever, ever, ever joining the organization again. I respect those who are in it, meaning I respect their choices. That's your choice. That's what you want to do. Okay, fine. That's what you do. But I'm not. That's not part of what I do. So I came here. I hope everyone's doing well. There's so much going on. How did everyone fare during the eclipse and afterwards? There should have been so many revelations because I'm here to tell you these things really affect me and it's affected me. So I'm thinking, how y'all doing out there? How y'all doing? I will see you soon. Hope all is well. Peace.